Hello, this is Evita Music from FDJ Suez and you are listening to the Real Talk podcast, live from le Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, stage 7 from Bourg-en-Bresse to Chambéry.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Talk podcast. My name's Matt Neef and a big thank you to FDJ Suez's Evita Music for bringing us into today's episode. And of course, a big thank you to all of you out there listening to this episode, coming to you after stage 7 of the 2025 Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. Georgie, Howe, good evening.
Good evening, Matthew.
Tell me about what you're seeing in front of you here. Where are we and what's going on?
Well, we have the Alps around us, Matt. We're in the Alps. I made a comment today as we're driving through the lovely town of Chambéry that we suddenly got very Swiss. But we are sitting at the 60-kilometre mark of tomorrow's stage, actually. So the riders would have just completed 2 climbs. They would have made a descent. They're crossing the river and they're about to get ready for the Col de Madeleine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that one later on. The sun has just set. It's about, nearly 10 o'clock here in the evening. We can't really see the mountains too well. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful when we wake up in the morning ahead of a wonderful stage. Lots to talk about again tonight. Really entertaining stage with some really big storylines that played out. Stick around at the end of this episode if you are a member for the off-mic segment, where tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about just how hard this tour has been. That is a segment just for our very special members. They are the people that keep this show coming to you and keep everything coming that's on the Escape Collective website. So a big thank you to everybody that is a subscriber. And if you're not, please consider joining. It really does help us out. And if you do like what we're doing here at the Real Talk podcast, we'd love it if you'd leave a review for the show on whichever platform you're listening to on, or just share the podcast with friends that you think might be interested. It all makes a difference in helping this podcast get discovered and getting more people involved. So thank you so much for everybody that's listening. Let's talk about the bike race. Georgie, give us a breakdown of stage 7.
Oh, yes, it was a phenomenal stage. The riders covered 159.7 kilometres, Matt. And like I said, if they said they rode 160 Ks, they're kidding. But you know who wasn't kidding? Maeva Squiban. From the flag drop, she launched an attack. And it was, and what an attack it was. She got up the road and turned around, realised no one was with her. And she said into the radio, "Is this a joke?"
We've just had a spider land on our table. It's come down.
It's about the size of a 50-cent Australian piece.
It just kind of descended from the heavens there onto our table. We'll keep an eye on that one over the next
or maybe that's a metaphor for a spider descending from the heavens tomorrow later on. I don't know who that would be yet.
We'll definitely talk about some good descending later on in the episode, I'm sure. But yeah, back to Squiban. Yesterday's stage. Then just on the attack straight away.
Flag dropped, and she pulled a move that I usually pull, and it doesn't work as well. And I don't know why, which is attack from the gun and stay out and win the stage. Sounds simple.
Yeah, so she ended up dragging a group of 17 riders?
20 riders up. And the gap when we tuned in after we got to the press centre was at 3 minutes and 5 seconds. EF, FDJ, Trek and Phoenix de Koning were on the front at 55 Ks to go. Break was at 4 minutes and they started the climb, which was a Cat 2 at the stage. Lucinda Brand was up in the breakaway. She started to drop and that was a mark of the back door swinging open and riders falling out the back of the breakaway. At the top, Squiban was notably in that breakaway and she took the maximum points for the QOM at the top of the mountain at about 48 Ks to go. And at that point, they're nearly 4.5 minutes ahead of the main bunch. The main peloton was approaching the top of the climb with, impressively, Lorena Wiebes pacing the bunch. They get on over the top, no dramas whatsoever, and the break stays wobbling between 3.5 and 4 minutes. At 34 Ks to go, Phoenix starts to pace up the climb quite quite like aggressively.
Very well, yep.
Yeah, and very well as well. Lorena Wiebes is just hanging on to the back there. The gap is at 3 minutes. Squibben is talking into the radio in the breakaway, and I'm just wondering, I'm like, what is she talking about? But then we'll go into what was said in that radio later on in this podcast as I talk to her teammate. But then at 30 Ks to go, Reinbeck attacks the breakaway, my mate Maud, and she went up the road and goes solo. And I was cheering for her. I was like, crystal ball, stage 1, stage 2. This girl has an inkling as to when to get up the road. It's quite impressive. And then Phoenix turns up the pace in the main peloton behind. There is about 10 left in the breakaway at 25 Ks to go. And then at 23 Ks to go, Squibban attacks the remnants of the breakaway, dragging Meriging from Movistar along with her. And behind, Yara Castelline is putting in a monster pull in the peloton. And Phoenix de Koenig had a phenomenal ride today, which we'll go into a bit later. Then Squibban drops her compatriot in the breakaway, and she just goes solo. And at that same moment, Kim Lacourt is dropped out of the group of favourites at that time. So that was Yellow was out of the main group of favourites at that point. Vollering then is pulling in the group of favourites, knowing that Lacourt is off the back. Once they get over the top of the climb, Lacourt then uses her mountain biking descending skills to get back into that group of favourites. And we have a situation where Squibban is up the road over a minute ahead of the peloton. Second win in 2 days. French woman, Tour de France. How you can't write this stuff. And then behind you had a group of 3 battling it out for the remaining podium spots, and it was Cedrine Cabal of EF Education Oatly, Sharine Van Androoy of Lidl-Trek, and Ruth Edwards of Human Powered Health. And it was a great battle for the second and third placings. Cabal was using her superior descending skills. I would love to pick her psyche about this, what goes through her mind on a descent. I would, dare I say, not much. And then... so then at that point, we thought it would be Ruth Edwards would get second place. I was standing next to Heidi Franz, another American, who was egging her on. But it was French 1-2. Squibban wins. Cedrine Cabal rolls Ruth Edwards on the line, and Edwards gets third.
And notably, Cabal came from the group of GC favourites, right?
Correct. She attacked out of the group of GC favourites on the descent.
Whereas the other 2 were from the breakaway. So
that's correct.
We saw Cedrine Cabal doing Cedrine Cabal things, descending like an absolute maniac on the last climb and last descent rather. And she's very good at it. Really, really good at it. So yeah, second to her on the stage.
It was a really exciting stage, and so heaps to talk about. Let's get into it.
Yeah, well, let's start with Squibban and the UAE Team ADQ story, because we talked about this yesterday. They're down to 4 riders. Lisa Longoborghini was gone. They had to adjust their plans. They went all in on stage wins. They got the stage win yesterday. Job done. Excellent tour already. And then here they are again 24 hours later with a second stage win, near identical in terms of how it played out in the final 20, 30 kilometres. Georgie, you spent a bunch of time at the UAE Team ADQ bus this afternoon. We've got lots to talk about from your experience there, but why don't you run us through what you saw, what you heard, who you chatted to?
Yeah, well, after my, yet again, another long commute to the team buses, Matt, I still have not. Actually, no, I got through the technical zone today. I managed to bat my eyelashes and walk with confidence and went somewhere I shouldn't have. But then I got to the bus a lot quicker. Once I got to the bus, I moseyed on up to the UAE Team ADQ bus, and Dan Bonello was there, the boyfriend of Brodie Chapman, as well as Heidi Franz, good mate of mine and friend of the pod. And they had the TV up on the bus, and we were able to watch the last 2.5 Ks, and it was just disbelief, I think, at the bus. But it was a disbelief that was not like, oh my God, how could this happen? It was like, we've done it again. This is just unbelievable.
I believe you weren't just watching the final few Ks.
No, I was commentating the final few Ks, and we do have audio from that, which may or may not get injected at some point into the Wheel podcast. But it was Dan Bonello, Heidi Franz, and I commentating the last 2.5 kilometres as UAE Team ADQ are watching what is just spectacular. It was Maeva Squibban winning a second stage in a row, and then Dominique Wodachik coming in 5th and extending her campaign for GC, now sitting at 11th. So it was a really solid day for the team.
Like I said, lots to talk about here. Why don't we throw to your chat with Dominica? Sounds like she was really good.
Yeah, she was fantastic. She is an absolute legend, cooling down on her trainer, and she gave me so much of her time. And yeah, even after recording, we talked a heap more. So an absolute legend, and I wish her all the best tomorrow. Domi, fantastic job. 5th on the stage. You said when Maeva attacked from kilometer 0, she said something in the radio.
Well, she said to us that this is a joke. I mean, to be honest, she was in the first row, and I had no idea that she attacked, basically. And then I heard in the radio that Chess said, Maeva, what are you doing? And she was like, yeah, it's just for a joke. And then Chess only said to her, okay, so maybe wait there. And we are waiting for a really strong group. Maybe something happened. We were discussing today before the stage that, well, if not today, when is the day for breakaway? Exactly. I mean, today was really the perfect stage for breakaway. And we are on stage 7. And you really can see in the peloton that no one has legs to chasing. I mean, Phoenix, the Koenig, we're doing everything to chase it back, and they couldn't because no one has legs.
Yeah, I interviewed FDJ yesterday, Lars Boom, Demi, and Juliette, and they said it was intentional to have Shabby in the break yesterday because she kept the pace on, and so in the peloton the pace was on, and Lars said he wanted fatigue in the legs. So is that true? Everyone is fucked, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this break was super, super strong. Maeva had really, really good
legs.
No, because she said to us that she doesn't really have good legs. But we were just talking to her in the radio. Okay, Maeva, just use others. That just let them work, let them pull. They are really big engine like Chloe Dygert, like Lotte Kopecky. Just let them pull. And I guess she did it. I mean, last 30K they were talking in the radio. In French, and I had no idea what was going on. To be honest, well, I was also really focused on my goals for today. We wanted to see how deep I can go.
Yeah.
So, well, Maeva had her race, and I also had my race.
A very good race too. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
But with Maeva, I heard from Clara that she's quite the character. How is she fit in the team? What is she like as a teammate?
Well, she's always nice, always smiling, always helpful. She was struggling a lot on the first couple of stages in the tour because she's a bit afraid of riding in a bunch.
So she gets off the front.
That's, I guess, yes. This is her answer for everything what happened during first couple of stages. But yeah, she's always smiling, always helpful, and always ready to help off and on the bike. So, well, it's really, really good teammate.
Because she's only started this year. So, like, how has she, joined the team? Like, how has she been welcomed?
Well, to be honest, this year changed pretty much everything. I mean, when Elisa came to the team, she really... Well, I really felt this year like we have really, really good atmosphere in the team, and we really hug everybody.
That is very good, by the way.
Yeah, and we really have really, really good atmosphere. Of course, we are different ages, different characters, but to be honest, this year I really like to go for races with other girls. We have really, really good vibes, really, really good atmosphere. So. Well,
yeah. I mean, you can see it. You're down to 4 and you're still winning stages of the Tour de France. So tomorrow, tell me, what is your plan for the weekend?
First, I really need to realize that it's not a dream. I mean, I still feel like it's really a dream. I hope it's 1st of August, not 1st of April. And yeah, then we see. I mean, tomorrow is, well, I don't have such a long and steep climb in Poland, so I guess it will be difficult and challenging, but I just would like to do my best and just still one more time. I would like to see how far I can go.
Right, so that's Dominika Lodacik speaking to our very own Georgie Howe. Georgie, you also caught up with one of the soigneurs at Team UAE ADQ, and I believe this is part of a story you wrote about who is Maeva Squeebine, right? Because I guess for the English-speaking audience, she's a rider that we we haven't heard that much about. We talked yesterday about how she came second on that great stage last year and just had a few good results along the way, including a time trial win at the Tour de Ardèche earlier this year or late last year. I can't remember which, but still she's a rider that we don't know all that much about. So you set off on a bit of a quest to find out.
I did, and no one on the team knows a rider better than the physio. Let me tell you that. I think it's something about someone's hands being on you. You just spill everything. I think hairdressers get the same thing. You sit in that hairdressing chair, you get on that physio table, you get your head massage or your body massage, and all of a sudden your deepest and darkest spill out of your mouth. So I knew that Carla would have the dirt, not like good dirt on Maeva, and she certainly did. She said she just smiled. She couldn't stop smiling. She's like, Maeva is just she is a dark horse in the sense that you wouldn't guess she is the way she is, but she just does her own thing. She is mentally so tough, quirky, funny, but she's so driven. And she comes into the massages and treatments for physio, and they just talk about anything but cycling. It's just she's got a really curious mind, and she's new to the team this year. She came over from Archaea B&B Hotels last year, and she's had a rough year. She was hit by a car in training, but she's able to work her way back. And Carlos would have spent a lot of time with her in that recovery and rehab. And so she knows firsthand how strong this girl mentally is. And Carla says her biggest strength is her mentality. She is so mentally strong and always just so positive.
Why don't we hear from Carla now?
All right. Name and role for the team.
Carla, physio for team.
All right. So I interviewed Jean from Jayco the other day.
Oh,
yeah.
she's a legend.
She is a legend, but we all know the physios have an important role. They're the psychs, but they get to psychs as well as the physios. So they also get to know the riders intimately. Maeva, tell me about her.
What a character. Love her. What you see is what you get, but she's a bit of like a black horse. You don't expect it.
Yeah.
She is mentally so tough, quirky, funny, but she's so driven. Comes for her sessions, comes for her massages, and doesn't talk about anything other than cycling. Well, talks about everything else other than cycling. Mm-hmm. And it's just, she's a character. Eh? She's a character.
And she's young and she's up and coming. She's new to the team this year, so she's clearly immersed herself very quickly.
She has been such a surprise. Yeah. I think mentally that's her biggest strength. Okay. She's just so mentally strong, and she's just always so positive.
And as a teammate, how does she fit in?
She just does her own little thing. Yeah. She doesn't care. She does her own little thing, and everyone just loves her for that. Yeah. She just blends, but she's not afraid to be herself.
And you guys are down to 4. It's been a tough tour, but you've got 2 stage wins now. I mean, Dominica got 5th today as well. It's an amazing ride. So the vibes are obviously high. Where does that come from?
I think I've never seen such a close group of girls just almost lifting each other up. They always got each other's back. They're so positive and they're just so motivated. Yeah. They just have their own little vibe in the bus. It's just the 4 of them. It's like a little gang. Oh, it's very, very cool to see. It's very inspiring. Amazing. Well, tomorrow on the Tour de Madeleine, you'll be working with Maeva tonight, no doubt, to get her ready. Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Looking forward to it. What a legend. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, so on the subject of UAE Team ADQ, Brodie Chapman, she was up the road yesterday. She was meant to send us an audio diary yesterday, and in fact she did, but it came in about midnight. And we've talked before about how late these stages are. By the time you finish the stage, do all the stuff you need to do at the bus, and the riders get to the hotel and get treatments and all that kind of thing. It's a late night when they then have to also send audio diaries to a random podcast. So they came in late last night, but why don't we hear from Brodie Chapman talking about her day in the break yesterday, which the day that Squibbon also won.
Whoa, sorry, it's 4 minutes to midnight and I've just lied down on my bed. Pretty big day for us, and we just had some celebrations down in the hotel restaurant, which was pretty awesome. Maeva gave a very nice speech. So yeah, today, what happened? Well, yeah, we have 4 riders left and we are very keen for stage wins, but kind of have nothing to lose, which is the plan. And every day our DS is just you know what? We just want to see what's possible. we all have complementary strengths to each other, and we all back each other to, see how the race ends up. But today kind of went to plan. I mean, Lara helped position us and protect us early on. It was another tailwind day, so it was pretty rapid. There's a lot of attacks because I think people knew the breakaway could have a chance today. I covered a bunch of moves, and even though I was kind of suffering a bit from yesterday's effort, I found myself in quite a big group actually, and maybe I was getting a bit too excited. I was very motivated. I was like, all these girls are attacking full gas, getting in the break, and then we get there, and they don't even want to pull through, and we've got like a 12-second gap. So I was kind of, along with Elise Shabby, really trying to get everyone to move, because if you want to be in the breakaway, you got to commit. It's hard. You got to commit from the start. And I understand like saving energy, looking at each other when the final's up for grabs. But today, we pushed on and hit some climbs ahead of the group, and basically the peloton didn't really let us have any more than 2 minutes. So it was quite clear to me that this big breakaway group was probably not going to contest the finals. So I just tried to push with fading energy, but push nonetheless until over the top of the category 1 climb. Again, there was a few other riders there. I mean, Amber Crack, she probably did 80% of the pulling because she had polka dot jersey Elise Shabby in the group too, and Shabby was also really motivated. We had a few words about egging each other on, trying to get it going, trying to keep it, as fast as you can up a hill. But Amber Crack just was incredible. So great teamwork from her there on FDG. And so we were kind of losing some time on the category 1 climb, but I just wanted to push because I wanted essentially the riders behind were just kind of keeping steady, but rather than attacking, so that Domi and Maeva could light up the next climbs. And we got top of the Cat 1 climb, and I kind of just went lights out. Like Elise Shabby and Silka Smolders attacked over the top for the mountain points, and I tried to follow, but I was just like, oh no, my legs are done. And then everyone kind of went around me on the downhill, and I just couldn't really focus or steer my bike very well. Not much sleep last night either. Anyway, then I mean, I knew the group was coming back sooner or later. So then the next climb started straight away, and Domi and Maeva were there looking good. Next thing I heard, that Maeva was up the road. So that's awesome. Those two girls rode around each other all day, ready to back each other up through some attacks. And as I reversed through the peloton, really, I got further and further away, but I was getting updates from the organisation actually from the side of the road that Maeva was gaining time, and I had a good feeling that she could really pull it off. She's such an explosive and instinctive rider, and shreds the downhill. So got to the finish line and she'd done it. So I mean, it's just so special. She's a French rider. Her name was written all over the road. Her dad was here. I think everybody in the whole nation was just super stoked to see her win in such a classy and daring way. So we couldn't be more happy as a team to have achieved what we set out for, which was stage wins, but also just with the ups and downs of the tour so far. So onwards to the next ones. We keep trying.
You had a chat with her.
So that was the chat I had with her was I caught her as she was coming back. I believe may have had doping control, may have been at the podium, I'm not sure, but she was rolling back through from the start line. I was walking back to my very illegal way of getting back to the press room through the technical zone, and she was there, and I stopped her and we had a hug, and we're just chatting about the stage, and I was like, hang on, I'm just going to press record. How was today? And she's tired, she's cooked. We'll go into this later in the off mic, but everyone's tired. Really tired, and she had a big day yesterday. She felt like she did nothing today in terms of like her contribution to the overall win, but I stopped her and I said, no, you haven't done nothing because you were a group of 4. Every single one of you is pulling your weight, whether it's, sorry, we've just got this spider here. It's doing its Spider-Man thing. It's quite... Matt and I, yeah, and like, where is that string coming? Oh, it's coming right from up there. You've come a long way, sir. Brodie, I think Brodie needed to give herself more credit because just by virtue of being who she is and encouraging her teammates, she is doing exactly what she needs to do. Like Lara Gillespie came 123rd today, but she was at the podium celebrating a teammate and was able to ride back with the podium flowers and with Maeva and be there for her teammate and just see her for what she'd just done, which is an amazing victory.
Let's hear from Brodie Chapman talking to Georgie at the end of stage 7.
Brodie Chapman, 2 days in a row from kilometre 0. I heard from Domi. I had a good 5 minutes with her. Maeva said she said in the radio, "Is this a joke?"
Oh, I'm so speechless because when she went straight away, we were like, Maeva, just be a bit smart. But I mean, she really had so much confidence after yesterday's win, and we knew her strength, but we couldn't imagine that 2 days in a row she could show that on the biggest stage of the world. So, I mean, it's going to take a lot to just soak it in, and I didn't do anything at all today except for sit here and be in awe.
I mean, Brodie, I actually think it's vibes because I had a chat with your mechanic and he was great. 2 days in a row, he said, oh, yeah, I think Maeva can do something. I think the girls can do something, and 2 days in a row you win. So I think he's your lucky charm. But he said the vibes are phenomenal. I had a chat with Claria, Swanee, Alejandro, and they said you guys are all picking each other up despite only being 4. It seems like it's been a tough tour. But, yeah, I think you did more than enough today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know it's easy to say only 4 riders, but it's 4 riders who are all in good shape, all really motivated. In fact, we've become really a bit more tight-knit, We know that we all have to step up a little bit and stay supportive because and everyone's taking responsibility, which is just super nice. It's such a nice thing to be a part of, and all the staff as well. They haven't dropped the game at all, They've all just been giving us the exact same high level of care, the exact same attention, the exact same support. So I think it's just a good testament to say that don't never give up and keep day after day keep trying.
And one word to describe Maeva as a character, as a person.
One word to describe Maeva. Oh, she's just fun. She's a fun, energetic person. That's 2 words, but I mean, yeah, right. She's fun.
Great stuff there from the UAE Team ADQ camp. Thanks to you there, Georgie. Dominika Lodacek is now, she sits about a minute 56 behind the overall lead of Kim Lecourt coming into the La Madeleine stage. So we'll talk about that stage in more detail a little bit later on, but they're riding for her tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they are. I was in the press conference with Maeva and I asked her the question if the polka dot jersey is something that she's focusing on, considering now she's sitting second in that competition. And she was like, no, tomorrow is for Dominika. We're going for Domi in this stage. And similarly, when I was chatting with Dominika, her mechanic came up and showed her something on his phone. And she put her head in her hands and just started laughing. And he was just like, no, it's for you, it's for you. And I was like, what are you looking at? And he's like, oh, the GC. And so she couldn't believe where she was. She's sitting 11th. And the team is fully behind her for tomorrow in the Col de Madeleine. And I'm the way she's riding, she's been consistent. She's been there. She came 5th today in the group of favourites. I think she's one to watch for sure.
Yeah, and you look at the riders directly ahead of her. It's Evita Muziek, who brought us into today's episode, and Juliette Labousse, who presumably will work for Demi Vollering tomorrow and will probably slip down the GC, you would think. So we should see Lodacek end up inside the top 10 overall, I would think.
Yeah, and Evita and Labousse came up in conversation when we were discussing the GC with Dominika earlier, and I won't repeat what was said, but it was in confidence. But she's excited for tomorrow.
We can actually talk about those two just really quickly in the context of Kim Lecourt, who we're going to get to in a moment. But there was a moment at the finish when Lecourt managed to bridge back to the group of favourites after that daredevil descent, after getting dropped over the top, and she was trying to fight her way back to this group. And she said in her press conference today that they blocked her effectively. There's a narrow road on the approach to the finish, and that they got in her way and wouldn't let her through. And she didn't seem all that impressed by that.
No, she wasn't. I'm just getting the exact quote up. She said, Juliet and Evita blocked me. That wasn't fair. I shouted at them to let me through, but I guess they call that tactics, right?
Yeah, interesting. There's been a few little like back and forth and mind games and kind of aggro posturing. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's entertaining, I think. Or distracting. I'm not quite sure which, but
I mean, I think it's It's posturing and just words. It's distracting when you buy into it.
That's a great point. So Kim LaCourte and the AG Insurance-Soudal team. I had a really lucky moment today where I wanted to be at the finish line and wait for the riders to come in, and was hoping that I'd be able to see Kim LaCourte come in after she'd done this amazing, save of her GC lead, and had the fortune of being in the exact spot where she pulls up, gets off her bike, puts the bike against the fence and sits down. Not only that, but then Justine Hekira and Sarah Gigante, who had been, key players in that final climb as well, they came over to her and they had a conversation, and, LaCourte's there, very calm, just calmly bike against the fence, calmly sits down, has a drink. She's been like this all week, just a very calm presence, very in control, very impressive. And then, to her right, Justine Hekira has absolutely buried herself to keep Sarah Gigante in the hunt for the GC on this descent by bringing her back and yelling this support at her to encourage her to get back on. And Hekira's like almost in a panic, like just kind of yelling about what's happened, and she's then lying on the ground on like the burning tarmac in the hot Chambéry sun. And there was a lot going on, and a lot of chaos around them, with the media descending on the group, and then TV crews coming in trying to do interviews and everything like that. But pretty amazing save today from that team, not only to save LaCourte's GC, but Gigante only lost 11 seconds today after being dropped on the descent. And they go into the final stage now with 2 big cards on GC, with LaCourte still leading overall, and Gigante a minute 14 behind on GC in 8th place. And based on how well she climbed at the Giro, based on what everyone's saying about her and how fresh she is and how much other teams seem to be worried about her, I think AG Insurance-Soudal are looking very, very strong for tomorrow.
I would agree with that. And I'm just having, while you were talking, I was just having a look at Veleview, like at what technical descents there are coming up. And really there's just the one which, Matt, we're sitting at the base of now. And coming into this beautiful hotel where Escaper put us up for the night. And that is really the only time that I see Gigante getting in trouble, and that's still with 58 Ks to go. So she still has time to get back. But I think I saw a clip of Shakira telling Gigante at the team bus, I'll do that again, but you got to win up Madeleine tomorrow, eh?
Well, that's 2 days in a row. Hekira has pulled Gigante back and helped her to get back to the GC group and limit her time losses. And it's been amazing riding from the Belgian champ. Really cool to see. And they seem to be a well-oiled unit, that team, and really supporting each other and really encouraging each other. And actually, we've got an audio diary tonight from Sarah Gigante, friend of the pod.
And I hear it's very good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Sarah is a great speaker. Not only an amazing bike rider, but also very smart and a great speaker. So let's have a listen to that now.
Hi, Abby and everyone at Escape Collective. I'm coming to you as the happiest rider of the whole peloton. It feels like Christmas Eve, but 10 billion times better. Like, I love Christmas, but tomorrow is Col de la Madeleine Day, and somehow I have made it here with, not too much of a time gap on GC. I just saw an interview from my DS saying he expected me to be 7 or 8 minutes down by now, so pretty cool. I think I'm just over a minute down, thanks to the amazing work of all my teammates, but especially Julie Vandervelde and Justine Hekira. Oh my gosh, today was another super team performance. Justine was really strong and got in the early breakaway, which is a nice group of 16 riders. Did so well, conserved her energy and rode really smartly, and then so selflessly when she sat up. She had a great position herself to go for a nice stage result, but sat up and waited for me as a satellite descent rider. Is that something original? I know I've definitely heard of lots of satellite riders before, but this one was specifically just for the descent. And she aced it. She rode behind me most of the time, yelling at me both nicely and not so nicely. It was very encouraging. If you watch the footage, you can probably see her even raising her arms. Come on, Sarah, move up. Come on, don't break. Come on, you can do this. Great corner. It really kept me in that group for most of the descent. Unfortunately, I took one of the roundabouts on the left rather than the right, and that's where I lost the group. So I think about 4 of us got distanced by doing that. But really, thanks to Justine, I'm really, really happy with limiting the time lost to just 11 seconds. And then, on the other side of the fence, I guess, we had Kim still in yellow today. She just had an off day. Like, I'm sure she'll be back to super strong tomorrow, but just not quite her day today. So she got a little bit gapped on the climb, but then had an incredible both mindset to keep pushing, paced it super well, limited the losses on the climb, but then a super impressive descent. She made up about 40 seconds on our GC group, which I didn't think was going super slowly, obviously. So she did super well, came back to the front, didn't lose any time. So she's winning the race by, I should check it. Sorry, this is in my audio diary. She's winning the race by 26 seconds ahead of Pauline, and then 30 seconds Cassia, 31 Demi. So at that point I may as well go through everyone. Anna Vandervring in 35, and then we've got Paulina Rodikers in 6. So super open race. Another great win by Mavis Scriven. Really, really impressive. So go her. I remember her coming second last year when my teammate Justine won the stage. But this is such a breakout week for her, and really cool for her team just to have a wonderful week after Elisa had to go home sick. I am just so excited for tomorrow. I've been waiting for August the 2nd for a very long time. I certainly didn't think it was for any GC reason. I actually only got picked for the tour on Monday. I flew out on Wednesday and I raced on Saturday. So I was only confirmed super last minute, and all in for Kim's GC, which I was more than happy to do. And of course, we're still all in for Kim's GC because I really do think that she's shown herself on a long climb before to about her feet, and all week, apart from a tiny off moment today, all week she's been so strong. But then, of course, I'm also up there in GC. So just a super exciting way for the team to come into the last 2 stages with 2 cars to play. Even if I'm there as plan B, I think it still makes the other teams a bit nervous, with Kim also having such quite a big lead thanks to 17 bonus seconds and some amazing riding. So wonderful team effort by all the girls, as I didn't mention them, but they were wonderful. Shari, Ilsa, Gladys as well. They've been Kim's bodyguards, but also since I dislocated my shoulder this week, I haven't been able to take biddens because you need to use your right arm for that. So they've been really keeping me fueled and hydrated, and amazing work by all the staff too. I asked Stein and Yolene today at dinner how the food has been for them, because we're lucky we have a team chef. They have the hotels, which normally are good, but I don't know. I was just asking, how's it been? And then they said they pretty much haven't eaten all week because they've been so nervous. So hopefully they're a little bit less nervous, because it is nerve-wracking being in a good position, but it's also really exciting. So just so pumped for tomorrow. Glad it's an uphill finish at last rather than a downhill one. I mean, it won't be all smooth sailing to the bottom of the Madeleine. It's a really lumpy race even before we get there. Definitely not a hockey stick profile, but I have a great team. Kim's smashing it. I'm sure she'll be feeling amazing again tomorrow. And then we have some really strong rulers and great climbers. And yes, MVP of the day. Hard to decide because all my teammates are amazing, but I'm going with Justine again. Thank you for saving my bacon. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thanks to Sarah Gigante for sending that one through. I think there's a lot of cycling fans and observers that are only learning about Sarah Gigante in the last month or so with what she did at the Giro and what she's doing at the Tour. And, one of the things they're learning is that descending is not her biggest strength. and she'll admit that herself. But I think it's really important to highlight that she's come a long way in the last year with positioning, with descending. It's something she's really worked on. She knew that was something that she had to work on. And, we talked in the preview pod when she was on the show about how she went and did this descending camp, she called it, coming and reconning all these descents in the lead up. And yeah, she's still got work to do in that regard. She'll admit that freely, but she is doing a great job of improving that weakness, and she has a great team around her that's helping in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. And Jolene de Horta, who I had a chat with a couple of days ago when Kim took yellow, was it's like extremely complimentary about Sarah and how she owns not weaknesses but just areas for improvement, and works actively to address them. So I have no doubt in the coming years she will be better at that. But at the moment, I think teams are looking at ways to expose Gigante, and I think it is that descent at 50 Ks into the race that they'll look to do that.
Do you think Kim LaCourte can hold on to yellow tomorrow?
Look, I mean, the thing about a tour is that it's you've got to take each day in isolation.
That sounds like a fancy way of saying we'll take it one day at a time.
Yeah, well, Matt, I am verbose.
You're a bike racer at heart, Georgie.
I'm a bike racer at heart, but I love my vocabulary too. So I'll think about ways to spin a sentence. But I think you can wake up, as Kim LaCourte said, you can wake up one day, feel amazing, wake up one day, you feel shit. Brodie Chapman would be the same, said the same thing. It's just at a tour, you really cannot look beyond the next 8 hours for your form. Like she'll have a good sleep. She'll be no doubt sharp for tomorrow mentally, I hope. But who's to say how her legs will be? It is a long climb. It's 19 Ks at 8%. And I am terrified, Matt.
Yeah, you're riding it tomorrow, aren't you, for the L'Etape?
Pray for me, dear listeners, please.
I'm looking forward to chatting with you about that afterwards to hear how it all went. I think my guess is that LaCourte will struggle tomorrow. I think she got dropped on a 7K climb today.
Yep.
Tomorrow's climb is more than twice as long. It's much steeper. There's no descent at the end that she can use to catch back on.
Yeah, I don't think there's a situation where LaCourte can hold on to yellow tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be a great story. But I think it might be for Sarah Gigante, and I think that's a really exciting thing for fans of hers, Australian fans of hers. I hope she has a great day out there, and it'll be very cool to see. All right, let's rattle through a few other quick storylines from today's stage, because there were quite a few interesting things that went on. X at the start, down to 3 riders.
That is grim. I had a chat with, when I was at the UAE bus actually at the start. I was at the start and at the finish. I'm just the lucky charm, aren't I, Matt? I was chatting about them about that, and they were like, yeah, look, it's grim. It's again, we'll go into it in the off-mic segment, but riders are dropping like flies, and the mechanic actually in his French used that metaphor in a French way, and I can't repeat it because I'm not French.
So X started the day with just 3 riders of their 7 that started. 7 or 8?
7.
7 riders that started. Yeah, I'm getting myself mixed up. Yeah, 3 riders left. Lotte Kopecky today I thought was really good. She was in the breakaway. She was up the road. There was a few moments there where I was messaging in the group chat going, imagine what happens if Kopecky wins the stage after all the struggle she's had. It would have been such a good story. And it didn't turn out, unfortunately, for her and for SD Worx Pro Time. But look, fair play to her for getting up the road and for fighting as well as she did. And anytime you see the rainbow bands up the road like that in the mountains, very happy to see it.
Poetry, Matthew. Poetry.
Ruth Edwards third. You mentioned that before. Friend of Escape Collective. Great to see her in the break and boxing on as well as she did and fighting so well to the end as well for that third place. And she got pipped on the line there by Kabul, but still a really cool result for her and for Human Powered Health. Yeah,
I think so. I think that team has been building quite nicely to something quite special, and it's good to see them get some see the fruits of their endeavours. I was just trying to sift through my metaphors there.
It is getting late, to be fair. Phoenix to Kunik, you mentioned them briefly before. Yara Castelline was incredible on that big climb today.
She's they actually, all of them. It wasn't just Yara, it was all of them. They were all committed to setting that hard pace on the climb. And I don't think they got the comment from FDJ afterwards saying the pace wasn't hard enough, so we sent our people up.
Yeah, that's right. And we saw Paulina Royackers today finish in the same group as Sarah Gigante. So about 10 seconds down on that group of the big GC favourites. But she still then comes into tomorrow's Col de la Madeleine stage 1 minute and 4 seconds down GC in 6th place. So for a rider who came 3rd in the Tour de France last year, she sure flies under the radar, but she's in a beautiful position.
Yeah, I know. She's kind of like, I'm trying to think of the car equivalent. She's kind of like this, what is a very reliable, ever-present, evergreen car, Matt?
Oh, I'm not a car guy, so I couldn't really tell you.
Well, I want to pick one and I can't because it's 10:15 at night and I'm tired. But you get what I mean. She is one of those. You know, Volkswagen Golf.
Okay.
Let's just call one of those. Always there, ever present, performs really well. No one really talks about them.
Yeah. And she's coming into a stage that will really suit her tomorrow.
Yep, exactly. And it really, she keeps her head down and that really works to her advantage. It did last year. It's done in the past, and I just don't know if teams are considering her.
Yep, very keen to see how she goes tomorrow.
I've told for the record, I've told a lot of people to put her in their fantasy teams.
Yeah, it's a great shout. Love that. QOM jersey. Elise Shabby is still leading with 29 points. Maeva Squiban up to 2nd, as you touched on before, 17 points, tied with Silke Smulders. We thought Shabby and Smulders would get up the road today to duke it out for more of those QOM points. Neither of them did, so that allowed Squiban to move up 2 places on that classification. As I said, Shabby still leads, but it's very much still an open competition, and Squiban, she continues with what she's been doing over the last few days. She could well be a factor in that if she wants to be. Yeah,
and I'm just doing a quick look at the top, like the maximum points available tomorrow. So it will be 15 points atop of the Madeleine, 5 points atop of the Cat 2, and 10 points. So 30 points are on offer tomorrow maximum.
Yeah, plenty of points to be able to play with there, and we could see a change in the polka dots. Side note, Elise Shabby had a polka dot bike today. Very nice.
Yeah, but I made a comment though, Matt. You know, it was clear she was purely on domestique duties today because she went for the jersey, the polka dot jersey and the black nicks. She didn't have the full polka dot skin dog today. So it was an aero. She wasn't going to go for the break.
Yeah, the skin suit she was wearing yesterday was also very sharp. Other classifications, best young rider, we saw a change in that today as well. Julie Bago, the French rider from Cofidis, she's been leading for much of the race really, and she was deposed today by, we've got some excited motorcyclists nearby. She was deposed today in the best young rider classification by Ninka Vinka from Team Picnic Post-NL, who climbed her way into the lead in that classification with 2 stages remaining. So Australian listeners will remember that name maybe because Ninka Vinka was on the podium on the Wollonga Hill stage at Tour Down Under a couple of years ago now. So a very promising young rider who rode well again today.
Yeah, she is a promising young rider, and but again with these young riders in this long tour, and arguably the hardest Tour de France Femmes we've seen ever, I just wonder how they're going to go this weekend.
And before we get to tomorrow's stage, a quick shout out to our friends at SBS TV.
Yeah, let's do that. They are listeners of the pod.
They are listeners of the pod. Very cool to go and visit them today in the TV compound. They have a big yellow truck that they're set up in every day at the finish line where they commentate on the race, and had the privilege today of going to visit Matt Keenan, Brodie O'Donnell, and We'll Talk Podcast's very own Gracie Elvin, who's unfortunately on SBS duties this week.
We miss you, Gracie. Yeah, Jump the fence, babe.
Very cool to see their setup there, to see the work that they do and chat to their producer, Kath, and learn about how they integrate what they're doing here at the finish line and the interviews that they're collecting at the start with Grace Brown, Dave McKenzie, how they integrate that with the world feed and how they communicate with Sydney back and forth. Huge production every year. And I guess a big shout out to the crew that did the men's tour as well, because a lot of them did the entire men's tour, or at least most of it bar a couple of days, and then came down and did the women's race as well. So that is a huge pull. And as I said to Bridie and Matt, they're both looking very fresh indeed, considering they've been on the road for a month and doing an excellent job as always. So big shout out to those guys, and good luck to them for the last 2 days of the race. Speaking of the last days of the race, Georgie, let's talk about tomorrow's stage. We've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Dun, dun, dun. It is the Queen stage, ladies and gentlemen. The riders are riding 111.9 kilometers, and if they say they're riding 112, they're laughing and they're joking, and you can flag their Strava ride for that one. But they've got over 3,500 meters of climbing. It is a hard day, and every domestique in the peloton is looking at the first 15Ks of this race with utter dread. They start right out of the gates with a 13.1 kilometre climb at 6.5%. Bicarbonate is going to be out of stock in Chambéry tonight, Matthew. Bicarb and caffeine is going to be the name of the game for this one. So, yeah, the riders will start off with that one, and then it's a rolling terrain as they get through the first feed and litter zone, and then they descend down to where we are sitting right now, and they face a Cat 2 climb that comes at 73.9 kilometers into the race, and that is 4.8 Ks at 5.8%. So 42 Ks to go at that point. And then it's on to the big mama of this tour, the Col de Madeleine. And look, don't let the cute name fool you. She is not cute at all. She is 19 Ks at 8%. And that will be the test of this tour, and we'll see exactly who comes out on top. The hardest part of the climb comes in the first 9.3 Ks. That averages at 9.2%. I'm looking at this with utter dread, for just selfishly. I don't know how we're going to do this tomorrow. And then it flattens out with the last part of the climb averaging at 6.8%. So it is a really hard day. This climb is going to be this is going to be the tour.
I like how you say it flattens off to 6.8%.
Yeah, it flattens off. It's all relative, Matt. It's all for my. It's all my. That's what I tell myself. I've just got to get to the last little bit.
I mean, you're right that it is relative. You look at the profile for the stage, and those climbs before the Madeleine look tiny. They look like little bumps on the profile. The first one's 13 Ks, as you said, and it's just a mere bump compared to the Madeleine. So, and
there are uncategorized climbs as well. Like between the top of the first climb and 50 Ks to go, it's 50 Ks into the race. It's up and down. Like they will not have it easy tomorrow.
Yeah, absolute monster of a stage. It will come down to that final climb, almost certainly. It should decide the tour. I mean, the final stage is a really tough one as well, harder than people are talking about. Yeah. But we could be seeing big time gaps tomorrow.
Yeah, I think. Look, yeah, I don't know if I did say the tour will be on Madeleine, but looking at that final stage as well, I think that has the potential to put minutes into competitors if they ride it the right way. So whilst it's not all over tomorrow, it's certainly going to make it really hard for those who aren't where they need to be.
Let me throw some names at you, and you tell me of these who
I like
you're most
this
excited.
game. Let's do it.
So Kim Lacourt, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, Karshini Odomafini, Demi Vollering, Anna van der Breggen, Paulina Royackers, Cedrine Cabal, Sarah Gigante, Evita Musique, Juliette Labrousse. That's the top 10 so far. What are you thinking out of that top 10? Who are you thinking is going to be the biggest factor tomorrow? Who's going to be the most impressive?
I actually think Pauline. Like we have not seen her. She's kept her powder dry. Her powder is so dry. It's like the desert. It's scary to think how quiet she's been.
And it's a real contrast to the first stage, right? And she kind of walks off the front on that first climb, or the last climb on stage one, and it makes everyone talk about how well she's going. And then we've just barely heard from her at all since then. Yeah,
and I think because we talked about how the tell is going to be how she goes through a 9-day tour. Like she's come from mountain biking where, most recently she's come from mountain biking where they haven't done this kind of duration of event and intensity of event. So I think we've just got to be mindful as to that. But I think they've ridden the last, what are we now? What day is it? Where they've ridden the last 6 stages between her win and now in a way where she has conserved the most amount of energy. Do they still have all 7 riders?
That's a great question.
I've just checked. They do currently have all 7 riders, from 38-year-old Marina Vos all the way down to young Imogen Wolf. So they are still fighting with a full contingent.
Yeah, definitely one of the squads to watch tomorrow. So much still to play out, and that final climb tomorrow is going to be amazing. Georgie, you're going to be on the bike up there, as we've talked about. We'll be able to chat about that once you get up there. I'm going to be up there for most of the day, and we might even do some podcasting from on the mountain and kind of share some vibes from up there. It's going to be an amazing day. Can't wait for that one. We do have one final rider diary for you tonight coming out of the Lidl-Trek camp. We saw Shirin Van Anrooy and Neef Fisher-Black both getting top 10s today. So let's hear from the Lidl-Trek camp, courtesy of Emma Norsgaard. So let's hear from Emma now.
No, but today was really a nice day for the team because we had Shirin and Luz in the break, so we were really happy that it was the plan. And the lady just went all out from the gun, like they were so determined to win in his break. So that was so cool to see. And and the break ended up having 4 minutes in the bottom of the first steep climb, and Shirin went super full gas, and it was so nice to hear over the radio. I was in the compressor feeling Shirin's legs burning up, but I was really, really happy to listen to Ina encourage her on the really long climb. And in the end, she ended up with a 4th place, which we are all super proud of. We would have wished for the win for her. She really deserved it, but I think also we should be really proud with a 4th place in this Tour de France. It's crazy. It's so hard, and yeah, I'm even doubting if I can survive tomorrow at the time limit. So I'm a little bit scared. But yeah, wish me luck.
Thanks to Emma Norsgaard for that audio diary. All right, that's just about it for this evening. Georgie, good luck tomorrow.
Oh, thanks, Matt. It's got to go to bed soon. Got to get my 8 hours. I've eaten. I've had a good dinner of chicken and rice, and I'm feeling my glycogen is replenished. The croissants this week have certainly helped, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we'll check in with you tomorrow night. For those of you that are subscribed to Escape Collective, stick around for the off-mic segment. For those that aren't, please consider joining. We really do appreciate your support. It keeps the lights on, keeps us being able to come to races like the Tour de France Femmes, avec, Zwift. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.